Hi everyone, welcome to Torah on Demand. I'm Rabbi Yael Ridberg. In these early weeks of the book of Exodus, the Jewish and secular calendars converge every year around the remembrances of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, whose 50th yahrzeit we mark this year. One born into a preacher's family in Georgia, the other born in Poland to a dynasty of Hasidic rabbis, but both who were awake to the divine call for freedom and justice when they walked together across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in the 1965 march from Selma to Montgomery, and that we begin to read about in this week's portion of Va'era. We retell this story of our experience in Egypt, and we learn that freedom is as much about faith as it is about justice. If Egypt is the symbol of exploitation and crushing humiliation, the ancient Israelites are the symbol of a yearning to ameliorate what is profoundly wrong in society. The central motif that bridges these two paradigms in this week's parasha of Va'era is a notion of stubbornness, determination, and the hardening of heart. We learn how the midwives, the daughter of Pharaoh, Yocheved, the mother of Moses, Miriam, his sister, and Zipporah, his wife, each stood fast in the face of obstacles. Their moral awareness, conscience, and instinct led to justice. Their stubbornness paved the way for redemption. And yet, when the Torah imagines that God told Moses that when he and Aaron were to go before Pharaoh and demand freedom, God says, Va'ani ekashe et lev paro. I, God, will harden Pharaoh's heart that I might multiply my signs and marvels in Egypt. What does it mean that Pharaoh's refusal to let the people go may have been enabled by God? Pharaoh acted without remorse or any sense of wrongdoing, and yet he was free to determine his response to Moses' plea for freedom. But at a certain point, Pharaoh's freedom to choose ossified. The Israelites remained slaves, and the Egyptians suffered the plagues. The more entrenched Pharaoh became in his immoral stance, the more his own freedom of will was stripped away. The Israelites suffered a constriction of spirit, a stubbornness that came from a despairing lack of faith. The Israelites were so weighed down by their suffering, they could not even hear or heed Moses. This stiff-necked people are our ancestors, stubborn yet determined, skeptical yet resolute. Their subsequent wandering in the wilderness will be due to, in part, their impatience, their fear, and their burgeoning faith. Still yet, God is also depicted as insistent and stubborn as well. God stands against those who deny justice and freedom. God stands as a symbol of the kind of stubbornness needed for those who dream of a different reality and are willing to do what is necessary to achieve it. Remembering Dr. King and Rabbi Heschel is not just about paying tribute to visionary leaders and prophetic messages. Our observances must also remind us of our own determined stubbornness to not accept the world as it is, but to transform it into what it might yet be. We are called to use whatever steadfast resolve we possess to resist the hardening of spirit and heart, and instead move forward to pursue a just society where everyone might indeed be free at last. Thanks for joining me. Shabbat Shalom. See you next time.